Hi everyone, still Spark 24, and I am still Adewumi Adeniyi, your biology instructor. Today, I will be talking about organization of life. Today, I'll be talking about organization of life. To start with, what is organization of life? Organization of life is the hierarchy of complex biological structure and system. The hierarchy of complex biological structure and system that use the principle of reductionistic approach to define life. Organization of life is the hierarchy of complex biological structure and system that use the principle of reductionistic approach to define life. And the principle of reductionistic approach states that every complex system is made up of its various simple parts. The principle of reductionistic approach states that every complex system is made up of its various simple parts. For example, we can simply say that the organization of life is the hierarchical structure where living things are arranged from the simplest to the most complex. Okay, the hierarchical structure that arrange living things from the simplest to the most complex. That's what we call organization of life. Of course, we can have cells being made up of organelles. So you have organelles plus organelles. That's make up what we call cell. And when you have cell plus cells, a group of cells coming together, that make up tissue. And usually, there is an increase in complexity from unicellular organism to multicellular organism. There is an increase in complexity from unicellular organism to multicellular organism. And the bodies of complex organisms are differentiated into specialized parts which perform different functions. So you have different parts that are specialized for carrying out a particular function, which make them more efficient in carrying out the various activities of life. But despite this, there are still several disadvantages of complexity of organization. For example, difficulty to regenerate lost body part, slower rate of diffusion of respiratory gases, and inability of cells to exist independently are a few of the several disadvantages of complexity of organization. That is to say, as organisms begin to increase in size and complexity, even though it has various advantages, at the same time there are some disadvantages that come alongside. Now, these are the various levels of organization. Of course, we can see where we have atoms coming together to make molecules. Molecules come together to make macromolecules. Organelles come together to make cells, cell to tissue, until you get to a whole organism. And even organisms still come together to form a population, because a population is a group of organisms that belong to the same species. In biology, that's why when you talk about population of organisms, you have different organisms of the same species, okay, that come together to form a population. And different populations make a community. In an ecosystem, you have different community, and a biosphere of course, every place in the earth crust where living things can be found. Okay, now, classification of living things. Classification of living things is the process of grouping living things into kingdoms according to common characteristics. Classification is the grouping of living things into kingdoms or into different kinds according to common characteristics. And the science of classification is called taxonomy. So taxonomy is the science of classification. And taxonomy is divided into two. We have systematics and we have nomenclature. Systematics is the study of relationship between organisms. Nomenclature is the science of naming, from nomen. Okay, nomenclature is the science of naming. And today, the system of naming that we use is based on the one that was introduced by a Swedish naturalist who goes by Latinized name Carolus Linnaeus. Okay, a man by the name Carolus Linnaeus. He introduced the binomial system of nomenclature, which is the practice of giving two names to an individual organism. He introduced the binomial system of nomenclature, the practice of giving two names to an individual organism. The first name is the generic name, which usually starts with a capital letter, and the second name is the specific name, which is written in small letter. And the two names together are italicized or underlined. Okay, this man, Carolus Linnaeus, grouped all living things into two groups: the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. So he grouped all living things into two kingdoms. So you have the plant kingdom and we have the animal kingdom. And the basic unit of classification of living things is the species. The species is the basic unit of classification. It is the smallest unit that contains members which have the largest numbers of common features. Okay, people that belong to the same species can interbreed easily and give rise to fertile offspring. Organisms that belong to the same species, they can interbreed. That is why you say men marry men. Okay, domestic fowl marrying among themselves, of course, dog among themselves. So it is within at the level of species that organisms interbreed and produce offsprings that are fertile. And I must tell you, all human beings belong to one species, which is Homo sapiens. Okay, that's the scientific name. The species which have many common features are placed together into genus, and you have genus placed together into family. Family, you have order, then you have classes, and you have phylum. Okay, so the basic group, you have living things, move them to the kingdom. Then you can have phylum or division. You can have class. You can have order, family, genus, and species. The order. Then what is a taxon? A taxon is a unit of classification, and it represents a group of organisms that share common features, such as that shares common feature. So we can say that we can say that they evolved from a common ancestor. A taxon, species is a taxon. General or genus is a taxon. Class, taxon, and each of the units from domain to kingdom to phylum, even till you get to species, are called taxon. Each of them are called taxon. Together, taxa, the plural of a taxon. Okay, so a species is a taxon. And we can say that here immediately, we can already say that the basic unit of classification, which is the species, is the smallest unit of all of them, and the domain is the highest taxonomic rank or taxonomic ranking. The domain is the highest or the largest, and domain divides all living things into three domains. You have three domains. Okay, you have the domain archaea, you have the domain eubacteria, and you have the domain eukarya. Okay, now the two kingdom classification according to Carolus Linnaeus, we have the kingdom Plantae and we have the kingdom Animalia. We have the kingdom Plantae and the kingdom Animalia. Of course, the kingdom Plantae includes all green plant living things, while the kingdom Animalia refers to all non-green plant living things. Okay, but then when we now move on to the three domain system, or the domain system of classification that was introduced by Carl Woese and his group, or Carl Woese, we have Otto Candler and we have Mark Willis. In 1990, they introduced the three domain system of classification, which group living things into three groups or three domains. You have the domain bacteria, you have the domain archaea, and you have the domain eukarya. The domain bacteria consists of all the known bacteria. You have to talk about eubacteria. You have to talk about gram-positive bacteria, gram-negative bacteria, grain non-sulfur bacteria, proteobacteria, cyanobacteria, etc. Then when you come to archaebacteria, you have Grana cahota. You have all those bacteria that live at extremely high temperature. hyperthermophile or sulfur oxidizers, halophiles, methanogens. This group constitute the archaebacteria. And then you have the eukarya, the domain eukarya. The domain eukarya consists of course, we know both archaea and archaebacteria, eubacteria constitute of individuals that are prokaryotic. They are prokaryotic in the sense that they do not have true nucleus and their organelles are not surrounded by membrane. But when you talk about eukarya, they have true nucleus and they are surrounded by the organelles are surrounded by membrane. So in the domain eukarya, you have about 4 kingdoms. You have the kingdom fungi, the kingdom protista, the kingdom plantae, and the kingdom animalia. Of course, we have so many examples of them that are put in this sketch. We have entamoeba, you have slime mold, you have different animals, you have flagellate, trichomonad, diplomonad, microsporidia. Okay, these are all examples of individual in the domain eukarya. Now, these are more explanation of the group. We have bacteria, you have the kingdom eubacteria, you have kingdom archaebacteria, you have kingdom plantae, kingdom animalia, kingdom fungi, kingdom protista. Now, let's look at more characteristic features of the kingdoms and domain. You have the domain bacteria, domain archaea, domain eukarya, and you have various kingdoms. For example, under the domain bacteria, you have kingdom eubacteria. I said they are prokaryotic. Most of them, they have cell wall with peptidoglycan. While when you come to archaea, their cell walls do not contain peptidoglycan. The two of them, both of them are unicellular and they have prokaryotic cells. But when you come to under the domain eukarya, you have about 4 kingdoms. You have kingdom protista, kingdom fungi, kingdom plantae, kingdom animalia. All of them, they have eukaryotic cells. Cells with true nucleus, and their organelles are surrounded by membrane. Most of them are multicellular, except you have unicellular individuals under protista. But once you step into fungi, plantae, animalia, most of them are multicellular individuals. Now, the 5 kingdom classification, of course, the 5 kingdom classification group all every living thing into 5 kingdoms. You have kingdom you have the kingdom protista, you have kingdom fungi, kingdom plantae, kingdom animalia, you have a kingdom so we have kingdom prokaryote, you have protista, you have fungi, you have plantae, you have animalia. Under kingdom the prokaryote, of course, we know they are bacteria. Protista, they are we have a protozoa and the protophyta. And then under fungi, you have individuals that are heterotrophic, they are not motile. Of course, the kingdom fungi, under the 2 kingdom classification, the kingdom fungi was formerly placed in the kingdom plantae until they were discovered to be non-green plant, and they do not carry out photosynthesis. They cannot manufacture their own food. They have to feed heterotrophically, taking digesting dead decaying organic matter material, absorbing, digesting it extracellularly, they carry out extracellular digestion of dead decaying organic matter, absorbing nutrients from it. And as a result of this, when they have nothing common to the green plant except that they have cell wall. So they were moved out of the kingdom plantae and put in a separate kingdom fungi, under the 5 kingdom classification. Okay. Now this is the chart of the animal kingdom. So we move on to the animal phyla. You have phylum Annelida, phylum Nematoda, Arthropoda, Platyhelminth, Porifera, Echinoderms, Cnidarians, Chordata, etc. You have Mollusca. Under the chordate, of course, the chordate are animals that have notochord, and you now have subphylum Vertebrata, this animal that have backbone. Okay, so if you look at them, and the chart show different under the classes. You have different class under each of the phylum. So different classes under each of the phylum. Now, under the kingdom Plantee, you have this chart because you have various categories of individuals. Let's go and check out. Under the kingdom Plantee, you have them grouped into non-flowering plant and flowering plant. Under the flowering plant, you have those that bear spore, you have those that do not bear spore, you have those that they have a naked seed. Okay, we have one that have true seed, flowering plant, and those that have one seed leaf. Those that are called monocot. Mono means one. You have those that have two seed leaf or dicot. Dicot means two. Di means two. Of course, we have under spore bearing. You have individual that does not possess root, mosses. We have those that possess root like pteridophytes. Okay, now let's check a more explanatory diagram of them. So we have some group of plants, we call them talophyte or thalloid plant. They don't have differentiated plant body. Okay, no root, no the body. But when you come to other group where we have a spermatophyte, where we have a tracheophyte, okay, let's say we have some group of plant, they have a differentiated plant body. They are grouped into vascular plant and the bryophyte. The bryophyte do not have specialized vascular tissue, so we don't put them into the group vascular plant, or they are not tracheophyte. But we have the vascular plant of phenograms. Some of them are phenograms, those that produce seed, and some do not produce seed. Pteridophytes, the faint group. Those group are majorly used for decoration. Okay, most of those plants that they use to decorate houses, hotels, etc., they are from this group. Then under the phenograms, you have the gymnosperms, individuals that possess naked seeds. Then we have the angiosperm, individuals that bear that have their fruit, their seed inside fruit. Okay, so they are seed bearing, the seed are contained inside fruit, but for gymnosperm, the seed are naked. And then under the angiosperm, we have dicot and we have monocot. Of course, the monocot are more advanced compared to the dicot. Now, let's take a look at some examples of classification. Here we have the classification of man. We start from the domain. Usually today we do start from the kingdom. But let's start from the domain. The domain eukarya. Okay, you can say eukaryota, just say eukarya, domain eukarya. Of course, in the domain eukarya, you are going to have all living things that have two nucleus, starting from protozoa to green plant to bird. It is until you get to man, mammal. Okay, when you get to kingdom Animalia, you remove all the plants, but you still have all the other eukaryotes. Now, when you get to phylum Chordata, they are only the group that have a notochord. Of course, you will see the class apes, the bird that are still going to be there, pies, fish, different animals, including tortoise. You are going to see them, amphibia. Okay, now when we get to the class Mammalia, it's only those animals that have mammary gland. Okay, those that possess mammary gland, and so they are able to breastfeed their young ones. Now, when you get to primates, order of primates, okay, as you move down the group, they slim down. You get to order of Hominidae, then genus Homo. And you now get to the scientific name Homo. The specific name is Sapiens. So the scientific name for man is Homo sapiens. And another classification for grizzly bear. You start also from kingdom Animalia. If you like, you can start from the domain. It's still domain eukarya. Or if you say eukarya, you say eukaryota. You're still talking about the same thing. And then you move down, the group will be slimming down from Animalia to Chordata, those that have notochord, to get to Mammalia class. Only those that can breastfeed their young ones. They have mammary gland, they can breastfeed their young ones. You get to order. Here, this guide is under order of carnivore. Carnivora, they are flesh eater. Then you get to family Euzidae, then genus Usus, and the scientific name is Usus actus. Okay, Now, another classification for this is for corn, normal corn maize that we consume. It's still in the domain Eukarya. You move on to kingdom Plantae, phylum. Normally we use phylum for animals and division for plant. So here we're going to use division Magnoliophyta, that's flowering plant, and class Liliopsida. Liliopsida refer to monocot, and then other Cyperalis, the family Poaceae, that's Poaceae refer to the grass family. Okay, and genus C, species is male, so the scientific name is Simis. If you look at the inverted pyramid, you discover that they are narrowing down. So when you get on the domain, many individuals, almost all the individuals that belong to the domain Eukarya will be found here. When you get here, they are slimming down to the kingdom Plantae. You get down to this place, you see they slim down to the division of Magnoliophyta, the flowering plant. You know, we said the other time there were different categories of plant, non-flowering plant or cryptogams. So now as you move down, you get to the class, there we have the plant here is a monocot. Okay, it's a monocot ledonous plant, that is to say it has only one seed leaf order. As you move down and keep on reducing, look at here, very specific. Few individuals that belong to the species Sime. Okay, so that's why I say the species is the basic and most specific of the unit. Now this chart here classify many. We have the kingdom fungi and the kingdom Plantae. And under the kingdom Plantae, you see many. We have Pinophyta, we have Magnoliophyta, we have Phenopsida. The class Phenopsida here, you have class Liliopsida, and you have class Magnoliopsida. That's the dicot. Liliopsida is the monocot, Magnoliopsida is the dicot. Okay, and when you move down, you have Poalis, you have Pinnalis, you have Fabaceae, you have so until you get to the scientific name. Now, briefly, because of our time, we are going to take our time to answer some questions to bring to familiarize ourselves with what we're talking about organization of life and classification of living things. Now, the first question says here, the group of tissues performing particular function in the body is called Dutch. Is it a system, an organelle, a tissue, or an organ? When you have a group of tissue that are performing particular function, particularly similar function, okay, we call them an organ. Now, the next question says, the branch of biology that deals with the principle of classification of organisms is known as Dutch. Is it nomenclature? Nomenclature deals with naming. Ecology, option B, say ecology is the study of organism in relation to its environment. Oikos. Oiko means home, logos is to study. Then C, say biological index. Of course, that one was a distraction, or is a distraction. Then you have option D, taxonomy. We mentioned in the course of the introduction that taxonomy is the science of classification. Taxonomy is the science of classification. Next question says, so option D is the right answer. Next question says, in which of the following groups of animals are earthworms and sandworms found? Is it flatworms, nematode, protozoa, or annelid? Earthworm and sandworms are found among the group, the class Annelida. Okay, they are annelids. They are annelids. So the next question says, the snail and squid belong to the class A, arachnida, B, insecta, C, annelida, D, mollusca. The snail and squid, they belong to mollusk. You have them, we have soft body, they belong to the class mollusca. Okay, now let's look at the next question. Say, which of the following animals is warm-blooded? A, toad, B, lizard, C, frog, D, cat. Which of the following animals is warm-blooded? A, toad, B, lizard, C, frog, D, cat. Is it toad? Toad are poikilothermic, meaning that they cannot maintain a constant body temperature. Their temperature goes down with the environmental temperature. The same goes for lizard. In fact, oftentimes people will refer to lizard as slave to their environment because they cannot maintain a constant body temperature. Frog, the same. Frog and toad, of course, they are friends and they belong to the same genus. But when you look at the option D, cat is the only one here that belong to the that are homothermic. They are homothermic in that they can maintain. Homothermic animals are animals that can maintain a constant body temperature. Poikilothermic animal cannot maintain constant body temperature. So the correct answer here is D, homothermic. I mean cat, which is the only one that is homothermic. And they are so because there are many internal activities that generate a lot of heat, which can easily be distributed around the body by the blood, which make them warm-blooded. Next question, in which of the following groups of animals are pseudopodia and cilia found? In which of the following group is it among the nematode? Nematodes are worms. They don't move with cilia, they don't move with pseudopodia. Mammal, no. Mammal work with their limbs. Their hind, some have both. Some use both hind limb and forelimb. For man, we use our hind limb to work the leg. Arthropod has they are jointed appendages. Okay. D, protozoa. Among the protozoa, we have various locomotory organelles, starting from cilia to flagella. Of course, pseudopodia, no matter how primitive, is used by amoeba to move from place to place. So pseudopodia and cilia are found among the protozoa, among the protists. The next question says, which of the following organism is not an arthropod? Is it spider, cockroach, millipede, or snail? Snail is a mollusca. Okay, belong to the phylum Mollusca. Spider, cockroach, millipede belong to the phylum Arthropoda. But for snail, they belong to the phylum Mollusca. So they are not arthropod. Question 8. Which of the following phyla have members with both internal and external segmentation? We have Nematoda, Mollusca, Platyhemid, Annelida. Which one have members with both internal and external segmentation? Internal and external segmentation are found among the annelid. Platyhemid, they are soft. They are flatworms. Nematode are worms. Okay, so the question says which of the following phyla have members with both internal and external segmentation. Okay, segmentation refers to the division of organism or the body of the organism into repeating parts. Okay, when the body, for example, a earthworm, we have both the ring of earthworm, we have it into segments. If you look at the vertebral column of man, you have the ring, you have it divided into segments. So some organisms have internal segmentation, some have external. So in annelid, we have both internal and external segmentation. In annelid, we have both internal and external segmentation. Now the next question says, Which of the following organisms feed both autotrophically and heterotrophically? A, we have mucor, we have B, amoeba, we have C, hydra, we have D, euglena. Which of them feed both autotrophically and heterotrophically? Mucor feed only heterotrophically. They cannot manufacture their own food by themselves, so they feed on dead, decaying organic matter, where they digest it extracellularly, then absorbing nutrients from it. Amoeba feed heterotrophically, they can't manufacture food. Hydra feed heterotrophically, they cannot manufacture food as well. When you talk about euglena, euglena can feed heterotrophically when there is no light, and when there is light, they manufacture their own food through the process of photosynthesis. Next question is the most advanced in the evolutionary trend of animals is the most advanced. A, arachnida, B, coelenterate, C, protozoa, D, mammal. Which of them is the most advanced? When you look at protozoa, they are the first to be mentioned among the eukarya. Most of them, they are unicellular. They have true nucleus. The organelles are surrounded by membrane, so they are eukarya. But they are only, like I said, they are unicellular, so they are not. In this group, the protozoa are the most primitive. The most primitive, of course, is the most oldest. And the less, they are the less advanced. When you look at the coelenterate, like hydra, are only 2 cell thick. Most of them exist at the tissue level of organization. They are next to protozoa. And when you come to arachnid, the arachnid, we have some organ in the body of the arachnid. So they are still more advanced compared to the coelenterate. But when you look at mammal, the body consists of different systems. They are the most advanced, though the newest or the youngest, if you're talking in terms of evolution now. Of course, here they ask you to arrange them from the oldest to the youngest. The oldest here will be the protozoa, and the youngest in terms of evolution will be the mammal. But though the mammalian group are the most advanced, the most complex brain. So the correct option there is option D. The next question says, a process by which a new plant grows from a fragment or cutting of the parent plant is called that. Is it spore formation? No. Budding, where an outgrowth develop and grow up and can be detached? No. Fission, where an individual split, as common to as common as in binary fission that we have in amoeba, for example. Then we have option D, vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation is the development of new individual from the vegetative part of a plant. The development of new individual from the vegetative part of a plant. For example, vegetative part like the stem, like the leaf, as found in Bryophyllum. The stem, as found in cassava, where you can have the cassava cutting, you can cut the stem and plant. So when an individual develops from the vegetative part of a plant, that is called vegetative propagation. So the most appropriate answer here is option D, vegetative propagation. What is the basic unit of classification of living things? This was said in the course of the introduction. The species is the most basic unit. Okay. The next question says, which of the following enable mammals to maintain balance? Ossicle, cochlear, pinna, semicircular canal. The semicircular canal is located in the inner ear. And of course, it sends vestibular nerve, or constitute the vestibular apparatus that sends vestibular nerve to the cerebellum of the brain. And the cerebellum of the brain deals with maintenance of balance. Okay, they interpret the posture of the individual organism. So the correct answer there is semicircular canal. The ability of a living organism to detect and respond to changes in the environment is called movement, no. Growth, no. Taxis, Taxes is one of activities carried out by living things. D, irritability. Irritability is the ability of an organism to respond to changes in their environment. Irritability. Option D. The next question says the following organisms are producers except cactus, they are green plant, they manufacture their own food through the process of photosynthesis. Euglena, they can also manufacture their own food. Spirogyra, they are producers in the aquatic environment, they manufacture their own food. Mushroom are fungi, they are saprophytes that feed on dead decaying organic matter. They cannot manufacture their own food. Which of the following is not a unicellular organism? A. Chlamydomonas. Chlamydomonas is a unicellular organism. B. Amoeba. Amoeba is a unicellular organism. C. Euglena. Euglena is a unicellular organism. But when you come to Spirogyra, even though we do mention them, we are talking about cells, but here you have many cells connected end to end. So you have end-to-end arrangement of cells. So you have a filament of Spirogyra can consist of many cells attached to one another from one end to the other. So it's not unicellular. It's more advanced compared to the others. So which of the following is not a unicellular organism? The most appropriate answer in this scenario is Spirogyra. Which of the following organism has hydrostatic skeleton? Now we can have hydrostatic skeleton. An organism can have exoskeleton, and that one can have endoskeleton. Exoskeleton are those skeletal material that are found outside the body of the organism. For example, the cuticle found in the exoskeleton of insects. Then endoskeleton are found in some organism, in advanced organism. Arthropod also have a exoskeleton of their shell. So which of the following has hydrostatic skeleton? When you talk about hydrostatic skeleton, the skeletal materials that consist of fluid and smooth muscles in the body. For example, in the body of earthworm, they have body, the fluid and the smooth muscle come together that give support for the organism. So the skeletal material that gives support here is a hydrostatic skeleton. In the case of amoeba, for example, there is no skeletal material. We've discussed that in our prior lesson, previous lesson, that amoeba, they are shapeless because there's no support system, so they are shapeless. So, but earthworm have hydrostatic skeleton. The following organisms are vertebrate except what are vertebrate? The animals that have backbone. Toad have backbone, fish have backbone, lizard have backbone, but tapeworm doesn't. So tapeworm is an invertebrate. Angiosperms belong to which of the following? Xylophyte? No. Pteridophyte? Xylophyte are shrub. They are primitive plant. Pteridophytes are also lower plant. They are not flowering plant. They are not flowering plant. As we said, because of our introduction, the pteridophytes, most of them are used for decoration. They are ornamental plants. They are not seed bearing. Bryophytes, they are cryptogams. But when you come to spermatophytes, they are flowering plants. They have vascular tissues. So they are angiosperms. So the correct answer here is spermatophyte. The next question says chemical used to control bird is called dash. A. Insecticide. Insecticide killed insects. Rodenticide are used to kill rodent, rat. Fumigants are generally to fumigate, to do away with germs, with microorganisms or anything little. But when you talk about herbicide, they are used to kill birds. Of course, in biology, called birds are called class A's. So herbicide are used to kill a bird. Which of the following provide protein? Which of the following crops provide protein? We have grains. Grains provide us with carbohydrate, energy. Spices, we have vitamin. Cereals, we have vitamin, nutrient. But pulses, they are proteinous food. They provide us with protein. Pulses provide protein, like plant like beans, legumes, leguminous plants, granule. Those are in pod. Most of them supply protein. Which of the following is an example of perennial crop? Yam, maize, pineapple, mango. Perennial crops are crops that stay for more than 3 or 4 years. They can stay up to 5, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, etc. Yam live from between 1 to 2 years. Maize is within few months. So maize are annual. Can have 2 life cycle of maize within a year. Pineapple between 1 and 2 years. But mango can stay for as many years as possible. So mangoes generally they are perennial. The tree will continue to bear fruit from 1 year to the other. The next question says the vascular tissue that transports water and nutrients from the soil to the stems and leaves is known as dash. Sclerenchyma, collenchyma, phloem, xylem. Sclerenchyma, collenchyma are support tissue. Some of them help the plant, they provide mechanical support against mechanical stress. But when you look at phloem and xylem, they are the 2 vascular tissues here. Why phloem translocate food? What's translocation? The movement of manufactured food from the leaf where they are manufactured to the part of the plant where they are needed for assimilation and the rest to the storage organ for storage. That's translocation. And then xylem. Xylem conduct water and mineral salts from the root, from the soil through the root up into the stem and leaf of the plant. So the vascular tissue that transports water and nutrients is xylem. Xylem. The organ which is sensitive to light in euglena is the A. Gullet, flagella, cilia, eye spot. The eye spot of euglena is sensitive to light, helps them to migrate to where there is light so that they can start the process of photosynthesis, where they can begin to manufacture their own food. So the organ that is sensitive to light is their eye spot. The organism with a pair of jointed appendages are A. Platyhelminths, no. Protozoa, no appendage in protozoa, no appendages in flatworm. Annelid, no. But in the phylum Arthropoda, we have their characteristics with appendages with which they work, jointed appendages. Which of the following organism is not an exoparasite? Okay, ectoparasite live outside the body of the organism, endo live inside. So we have aphid, they live outside the body of the organism. Flea outside, ticks. Of course, characteristics of the body of dogs, you have different categories of ticks. Tapeworm. Tapeworm is an endoparasite that live inside the body of an organism. Endoparasite. So the correct option is option D, endoparasite. The lowest level in the hierarchical organization of multicellular organism is dash. The lowest level. You have A, organ, B, tissue, C, organism, and D, cell. The cell is the basic and the lowest level. Okay, the cell is the basic and the lowest level in the hierarchical organization of multicellular organism. Which of the following is an example of an organism? A, skin, B, a knife, C, cell, D, a skull, E, a mouse. All other options here are at the level of cell and organ, except mouse, which is a whole organism. So mouse is at the level of organism, the organism level of organization. So mouse is an example of organism. The highest taxon among the following is genus, phylum, order, kingdom. Of course, kingdom. The only person that is higher than the kingdom is domain, which is not here. So the highest among the following is the kingdom. Plant which complete their life cycles within a year is known as that. A, diennia. Of course, there's nothing like diennia. That's just a distraction. Perennial. Perennial plants, they live for more than, the list is 4 years and above, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and above, as many. Biennial, they complete their life cycle within 2 years. Then annual plant, they complete their life cycle within a year. So annual. Which of the following is not an oviparous animal? And oviparous animals are animals that lay egg. In between, we have viviparous, which are animals that give birth to their young ones alive. And ovoviviparous, that the group of animals that when they are, instead of laying their egg immediately, they retain the egg inside, and just before they could give birth, the egg hatch inside them, and the egg in some cases will eat the body of the animals out. So some of those individuals give birth only once in their lifetime. So now here, which of them are oviparous, that is, which are egg layers? Or which of them is not an oviparous? Birds, they lay egg. Frogs, they lay egg. Fishes, they lay egg. But cats give birth to their young ones alive. So cat is viviparous. Others are oviparous, while cat is viviparous. There's a viviparosity connote that they give birth to young ones alive. Which of the, in those cases of viviparosity, the youngs are connected to the body of the mother through placenta. We have placenta, we have umbilical cord. The placenta will be acting as most of the internal organs for the individual while the baby is developing. Which of the following is not an amphibian? Spotted salamander. Salamanders are amphibian. Toad is an amphibian. Frog is an amphibian with dual life. Tick is not an amphibian. The mode of nutrition exhibited by a tapeworm is that allophytic, no, saprophytic. Tapeworm, they don't feed on dead decaying organic matter. Holozoic, they don't even obtain their food from their environment. Also, don't feed on large amount of food. They absorb, so they are parasitic. Option D, they absorb digested food from the intestine of their host. Chameleon belong to the class A, amphibia. No. Pisces, no. Pisces are fishes. Marsupials are animals that their baby completes their development inside a pouch that is attached to the body of the mother. Mammals are grouped into 3 classes. So we have egg-laying mammal or monotremes. For example, duck-billed platypus, the scaly anteater or pangolin, they are monotremes, they lay egg. Then you have marsupials like kangaroo, where they have pouch attached to the body of the mother, and you see the baby shaking head or moving around or jumping, trying to, like he's going to jump out today or tomorrow inside the pouch. Then reptilia, the reptiles, they say chameleon belong to the class is reptilia. The reptiles, they have dry scaly skin oftentimes. Okay, so when you look at the body of the classification of the chameleon, they are found in the class reptilia. The branch of science that involves the study of the internal structure of plant and animal is called that A, physiology. Physiology deals with functions within an organism. B, cytology. Cytology is the study of cell. C, morphology. Morphology is the study of the external structure, external body structure of an organism. We can talk about plant physiology, morphology, can have animal morphology. But D, anatomy, that is the study of the internal structure. Be it plant or animal, you can have plant anatomy, you can have animal anatomy. So the correct option is option D. If a theory has been proven to be true, it becomes A, or an hypothesis. Hypothesis is a reasonable explanation of your guess, of your observation. You know, scientists start with observation. You observe your environment, and after your observation, you can propose a hypothesis, which is a reasonable explanation of what you observe. When you test, you carry out experimentation on the hypothesis. You test it here and there. If you find out that it is true, it becomes a theory. And the theory will have to be subjected to testing by almost all the scientists in that area of endeavor. Not only within your vicinity, like in the case of theory. Here, this time around, is going to be tested by the international community. They will test. So if the hypothesis after testing, if the theory after it has been tested over and over again and found to be true, without any doubt, any contrary view, it becomes a law. Okay, if an hypothesis is tested and accepted to be true within the limit of the available resources to the scientist in question and his colleague, it becomes a theory. But when the theory has been subjected to experimentation across all over the globe, that without any doubt it is true, then it becomes a law or principle. So the theory that has been proven to be true becomes a law. Arachnida are characterized with dash pair of jointed legs. A1, B2, C3, D4. They have 4 pairs of jointed leg. You have their head and their thorax fused together. So that's where you make mention of cephalothorax. And you have jointed leg here and there. So 4 pairs of jointed legs. The branch of science that involves the study of external features of plant and animal is called dash. See physiology, as we explained in page 35 above. Anatomy deals with internal. Cytology, study of cell. Morphology is the branch of biology that involves the study of external features, whether plant or animal. So we talk about plant morphology, animal morphology. Dash are parasites that depend completely on the host for its habitat, nourishment, reproduction, and survival. Ectoparasites live outside the body of the host. Endoparasites live inside the body of the host. Facultative parasites they can continue with their life without exploring a suitable host. They can live outside the host. So if the host dies, they can continue their life somewhere else. But for obligate parasites, they cannot but depend on suitable hosts for their survival. So the answer is obligate parasite. Division of the body into head, thorax, and abdomen is a characteristic of dash. Mollusk? No. Arachnid? No. Arachnid have their body divided into, both their head and their thorax fused together. So that's why we talk about cephalothorax. Myriapod? No. Insects have their body divided into head, thorax, and abdomen. So it is a division of the body into head, thorax, and abdomen. It's a characteristic of the class Insecta. The protein coat of viruses is called dash. The protein coat, is it peptidoglycan? No. Murine is another name for peptidoglycan. Glucan is a polysaccharide. Capsid is the protein coat that is found that surround the body of viruses is called capsid. Capsid as a protein coat. Dash is the basic unit of classification of living organism. Dash is the basic unit of classification of living organism. A, genus. B, family. C, class. D, species. We mentioned this in the course of the teaching. The species is the basic unit. Dash comprises unicellular prokaryotic organism. Kingdom fungi. Kingdom fungi consists of members that are the members of the eukarya, and they have two nucleus. The cells contains two nucleus. The organisms have membrane. Kingdom Protista, no, they have two nucleus. Kingdom Eukarya, no. The kingdom Monera comprises of unicellular prokaryotic organism. The organism between have one cell teeth, and they are prokaryon, no two nucleus. So the correct answer is option D. Thank you. Have a nice